Today I wanted to go over the next two sessions. Chapter 2 discussed about elementary programming, and Chapter 3 deals with selections. Elementary programming, basically the variables um, and the type, as well as we also discuss a scanner, basically taking an input from the user and doing something with it. And then the next chapter, which is Chapter 3, deals with selections, if statements, and so forth. Now, I wanted to kind of go over it so that you have an idea what that means. Now, in this program, I added Java util scanner, which is the scanner is basically a package that is part of the util in Java utility. So you use this one to basically get input from the user. Anytime you start a Java class, it has to be a class. Name it whatever name that you want to name it, and then you have the driver, what's called the class, the driver of where everything runs in the Java. So you have public, static, void, main, and every high-level programming language does have a main. Now, let me start with examples on what we already use for the assignments that you have or the projects that you have to submit. Now, variables are basically placeholders in memory, and there are different sizes for each variable. You have an int, you have double, you have float, you have a string, you have short, long, and so forth. And each one of these hold different information. So, for example, you have integer holding things that are whole numbers, double holding decimal numbers, float holding decimal numbers, but float is less than half of what double is, or double is more, the number of items or positions that float holds is more than that, and the string holds, like hello world, a string of information. Then you have short, which is more than double. Then you have long, which is more than what you call short, and then you have character, and so forth. Now you have these types of different variables or holding places for any information that you're trying to hold temporarily, so you can use it somewhere. Now, in our assignment or our project that you are supposed to write the food truck, you are selling 5 items, and these 5 items then you have to calculate. Now, these 5 items, we have to hold them in a variable. So things that you have to assign, like the menu that you have to do. Now, in our case, let's say we are selling a chicken and pizza, so we will use double or a float. Either one of them is fine. So I will say double, and then I will declare the variable that I want to use for chicken, and then I'll say double chicken. Then I can assign how much I'm selling that chicken. So the equal sign is the assignment, and then I initialize it to the value I set it to, what I want to set it. So I'm selling double chicken equals $2.99. Now, then each statement in Java ends with a semicolon, or I can do another one and call it double, and then pizza, and then initialize it to $1.99. I can do that, or I can combine all of them in one line and basically do a semicolon here, and then just say, instead of saying double, just say pizza equals $1.99. You can do that. Okay, so that would be like the menu that I tried to initialize. And in your case, you're setting 5 items, so you want to basically list all 5 items. Now, we need to know when a customer buys more than 1 thing, 2 things, 3 things, 4 things, we need to know the quantity. We don't know how many items they're trying to buy. So since it's a whole number for quantity, I'll just say int for integer, and then the quantity. So I can say quantity of the chicken. Again, make sure the variables make sense so that the user can understand it, rather than just calling it A, B, C. So I'll say integer, quantity of chicken, and then I also need quantity of pizza, let's say. So I'm selling pizza and chicken. So you want to do the 2 things that you're selling there. If you're selling 5, then you will list 5 things there. Again, I also need to declare the other variables that I need. So I will need now, if the user buys quantity if I know the quantity of chicken and they're buying chicken, then I also need to be able to calculate sometime in the future. So of the total cost, then I need to multiply quantity and chicken to give me the total cost of chicken and the total cost of pizza. So that in that case, I will declare another variable or two variables. So I will call double cost chicken and then cost pizza, just like that. All right. Now, since we will be asking, or in this case, let's calculate. We need probably another variable, and we're going to call this. We need to declare another variable, maybe tax amount. So let's say double tax amount, and then let's say total cost. Okay. So since we're getting tax amount, then we probably would want to declare the tax rate, right? So here we can include tax rate and then assign the value 0.006, let's say. Okay. Now we did all the declarations that we need. It's time now to ask the user the questions. So we will use scanner. Since we have Java util scanner declared imported here, now we can say scanner and then input. These are the questions we will be asking the user. And then new object, I would say scanner, and then system.in. All right. Now, once we do that, now we can ask the user the questions. All right. So we will say system out print line computer kind of slow. All right, the print line, and then ask how many chicken do you want? And once we ask the question, we want to get the input, so we'll say quantity. That's the variable that we used up there, so we'll call it quan chicken equals input dot next hint. All right. Now we ask the next question. We can just copy this and paste it here. Instead of how many chicken, we can say how many pizzas do you want? And then we can copy this. Instead of quan chicken, in our case here, it would be quan pizza. So here we ask the quantity of the chicken, the quantity of the pizza. Now, once we ask those questions and then we are holding that information in that variable for quan chicken and quan pizza, now we have to calculate the cost of the chicken and the cost of the pizza. So we will say cost chicken within those variable zones we define. Then we will say equals, then it equals quantity quan chicken times chicken, the price of the actual chicken. Then the same thing, it would be cost pizza equals quan pizza times pizza. Okay. Now, once we do that, now we calculate it. Now we can print it out. So we can say system.out. And then here is how we want the receipt to look like the format. So it will be Quan chicken. That is the quantity. And then plus sign, basically, we want to put it next to is we assign, right? So we'll say plus chicken. And we'll put a dollar sign so that it's formatted better. And then the cost of the chicken. So we put plus chicken. So the plus chicken here, we would add the value of the cost of the chicken. And then we'll say plus sign. Okay, we just concatenate. The plus sign means we're concatenating, meaning that we're putting it next to each other. And then here it would be each. And then it would show the dollar sign. And then here we would add the plus sign of the total cost. So this would be cost of the chicken. It's kind of slow. All right. And then we open that line. So I'm going to copy the same thing here and paste it right below it. So that is basically for the next order. So instead of Quan chicken, so this would be Quan pizza. And then this would be pizza. This would be pizza. So in your case, you're writing 5 items. You would show all the 5 items like I'm doing right now. I'm doing maybe 2 for you, like that. All right. So if we just run this as it is, let's see what happens. It says, how many chicken do you want? So let's say I want 6 chicken. How many pizzas do you want? I want 8 pizzas. Now it would display 6 chicken, $2.99 each, and then total is 79. Or you can say each in front if you want, and then 17 and so forth. All right. Now you have calculated that. Now you basically want to do the tax amount. If you wanted to display tax amount, so you would create something like tax amount equals tax rate, and then times, let's say, cost chicken plus cost pizza. Right, in your case, you would list all of them, and then the total cost, let's say, total cost would be cost chicken plus cost pizza plus tax amount, something like that. So if you wanted to have some type of display of a receipt, so it would be system.out line, and then you would have something like total cost, or let's say subtotal. And then here you would display, let's say, you want to add basically the 2 costs. without the tax. So you can say cost chicken. You can create a variable for this. I didn't create it, so you can create cost chicken plus cost pizza. Then display another one called system.out.println, and then say tax amount, and then here have the tax amount displayed. And then another one, call it system.out.println, call it total or grant or whatever. So in this case, since we call that one subtotal, we just call it total amount. And then this one will just be the total. Okay, if we run this, okay, we have some variable error with that line. Do we have a total, or we are calling it total cost? I think we called it total cost. All right, let's find out what we call the variable. We called it total cost tax amount. All right, and here we have tax amount. So tax amount, total kitchen. Okay, so we have few errors here. So let's go back to so I cannot find that tax amount. Let's see this. Oh, okay. So we have pizza. That one is fine. The problem is right here. Total cost equals cost of chicken, cost of pizza, and tax amount. Did we misspell something here? We have tax. Oh, I'm calling it tax amount, not tax amount. So I misspelled it. So you can correct it at the bottom, or you can correct it here. So let's call it tax amount there. So let's run it again. So now here we have, instead of total cost, we have total cost. So another one there. So we will fix that under the amount due. So here we have total cost. All right. So the variable tax amount plus main compiler error. So we have tax amount. Do we fix that? Let's go back. Tax amount. So you have to make sure. So that one is 924. So right here, so we will add A there as well. So let's run it again. So how many chicken do you want? 5. How many pieces do you want? 8. So now here it would show you you have 5 chicken, $2.99 each at $14.95, and then you have 8 pieces, dollar each, $1.99 each, and then it will show you. So the total would be these two added. Then it will say tax amount, so it's adding these two numbers, and then there you have it. Right now, since we said we are going to cover also the decisions, that means it's basically if statements. So if it rains tomorrow, take an umbrella, otherwise take something else. So that's what's called the if statement. So that is what we are talking about here with the selections. All right. Within the if statements, we have what's called relational operators. So these are the greater than, the less than, and the equal to, and the not equal to, and so forth. And you can look at that and read. So you have a one-way if statement, meaning if it rains tomorrow, take an umbrella, and that would be basically it. Or you can say something else. If it rains tomorrow, take an umbrella. Otherwise, if it's Tuesday, do that, and so forth. And then you can also have multiple if-else statements. You have if something happens, then the statement else. If something happens, the statement, and so forth. Now, in your assignment, you're supposed to do one of the labs, the next lab, I believe, that if the amount, the total amount is 50 or more, then give the person a discount or so forth, something like that. So just to give you how the ifs works, we have if, and then say in this case we're using total cost, right? So let's say total cost is, let's say, greater than or equal to 50, then what do we want to do? So let's say it's greater than or equal to 50, then you can give them some type of message, system.out.println, and then say something like congrats. You don't have to print it, but you can print that if you want to, just so you can see what happens. Congrats, you qualify for a discount or something like that. Okay, you can say something like that. You qualify for a discount. So this is if total cost is greater than that, and then you can print out the actual receipt, right? So instead of printing this one right here, you can actually take that and put the total amount here, something like this. All right, and then instead of just saying it, the total cost, we can take away maybe the price of a pizza, or maybe the tax rate, or something like that, or the tax amount. So let's take out the tax amount, maybe. Okay, something like that. All right. So you're giving them some type of discount. In your case, you'll be giving them 10% or 15%, whatever I made it in that assignment, right? And then we can say else. Else, if they don't basically get, if the total cost is not 50, then we can say system.out.println, and then actually just the total amount. We can just print the whole total amount. System total amount, do that, right? So let's run that. Actually, let's put this inside of parentheses. And then run it. Let's run that. So we have system.out, congrats. Oh, we have another one there. Congrats, you qualify. Print mine. How many chicken do you want? Let's say I want 15 chicken, 10 pizzas. For this one, it says, okay, total is 65.13, and then congrats, you qualify for a discount. So total amount is now what? 64. So it took out the tax amount from it. That's a discount. In your case, you'll be taking out maybe 10%, 0.1, or whatever total amount is. So this is the one you get. Congrats, you qualify. But how about if they don't qualify for the discount? So let's say I only order 2 pizzas, and two chicken and 3 pizzas. In that case, you don't get the congrats. You just get that the total amount, because it doesn't reach the amount that you'll get a discount. Again, I'm just giving you the basics. Of course, you would have to have a system.out for the thank you. You would have to have the header, which is you want to put the header basically somewhere around here. And in that case, it would be the name of the business and so forth, right? So you would put something like system.out, that print line. Then here it would be welcome to the pizza place. Right? And then you would have other lines, of course, to show the address, the phone, and so forth. /n is the new line. All right. So if we run it, and 4 and 5 that. So it would say welcome to pizza, and then there's a space between, and then you kind of format it so it shows up like that. Okay. So that's all that I wanted to show you, the decisions and the sign-in variables, and then the scanner. Those were chapter 2 and chapter 3. I kind of wanted to touch it for you so you have an idea as you are submitting your assignment this weekend. All right, thank you, and bye-bye.